He's doing his CC2 manual, organize your speech. So he is doing one more round of communication manual to stabilize himself and stay more focused. In this season 2 of CC, he feels more relaxed. It's like driving his second car, no excitement but enjoyment. But we are excited to hear your speech. And his opinion about the theme of the day is, it is a unique revolution in the form of non-violence that brought us freedom and made us a republic. It is those social reforms that made us grow and stand tall in the world. Before I call DTM Guruprasad on stage, I request DTM Sambal sir to read the speech objectives.
Toastmaster Guruprasad is helping speech number 2, which is organize your speech. The objectives as given in the manual are: select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech. Make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another. Create a strong opening and conclusion. Time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. The title of the speech is
The Power of Three, Divide and Avoid. Let's welcome DTM Guruprasad on stage. The Power of Three, DTM Guruprasad.
A patient went to a doctor telling him that I have a disease, I have a problem, please cure me. Doctor gave him a medicine and said, you have to take this medicine 3 times a day, and there is one condition. Whenever you are taking this medicine, you should not think of Anushka. The only condition, otherwise take this medicine for 15 days, you will be cured. He got the medicine, went home. The moment he opened the cover, he started thinking of Anushka. The moment he opened the tablet, same. He could not consume the tablet because he could not stop thinking of Anushka through. Even whenever he saw the name of a medicine in a pamphlet or a brochure or an advertisement, he started thinking of her. He went running up to the doctor and said, Doctor, I am not able to consume this medicine at all because I cannot stop thinking of her. Of course, then the doctor said, this is your problem. You are already thinking of your disease, so you will never get cured. Then that's a different story. Is this a joke? Some of you may think it's funny, and many of you think it's very silly. But this is reality, friends. In Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and friends, are we not coming across these situations in our life? We are being advised, to be exact, we are being forced to prohibit thinking of certain things in our life, and we end up only thinking about them, doing them, practicing them, using them, talking about them. It happens throughout our life, isn't it? We are not able to come out of it just because somebody forced us not to do it. I am going to talk about 3 such elements on which you have been advised never to touch upon, always to stay away from it, and we are not able to. We are not able to stay away from it, and the real fact is, they are not such elements to be avoided or prohibited from our life. They are very, very fundamental to our life, very, very much necessary for our life, but somehow somebody has impregnated that thought into our minds, saying that, no, stay away from that. Every Toastmasters meeting starts with the same advice, asking us to prohibit 3 things: sex, religion, and politics. General evaluator, before you start writing notes to object my speech, let me make something clear. I am not here to talk about topics related to sex, religion, or politics, but I am here to talk about sex, religion, and politics, the ways that make us feel bad about those 3. Is that clear? Let us go one after one. Reproduction is a fundamental principle of life. One of the basic principles of life is reproduction. Thinking about science, there are 2 kinds of reproduction. One is called mitosis, and another is called meiosis. One is exact replication of the same species. It's called asexual, in other words. It just makes Xerox copies of the same cell throughout. A becomes A, so on and so forth. The other is called meiosis, or sexual reproduction, where 2 subspecies converge to create a new species. This wonder of life. Because of this, from a single cell, life has evolved to what we are today. It has brought us so many nuances in our life, so much of growth, prosperity. Of course, there are some negative sides of it too. But however, they have helped all living organisms evolve and grow, not just human beings. It's a combination of science and certain responsibilities, social responsibilities that all the species have been given that lead to reproduction, and sex is an aspect that aids in reproduction. But what happened? To make these species get into this act and ensure continuity of the species throughout their life. It's not for survival, it was to ensure continuity. This was posed on those species. But there was a bonus, otherwise they will not do it. So they're included. Maybe it's nature or it's God or whomever you believe. A small element called pleasure. Otherwise, this reproduction process would not happen. So all other living organisms understood this and went on reproducing their species and also doing other activities of their life. There was one special species who could think differently because of the called a sixth sense, human. They separated these two, pleasure and the duty, and got involved more into pleasure part of it, forgot the duty. Chaos exploded. Because of this egotistic expectations, they started working on all possible methods, conflicts, wars, killings, bloodshed, to make sure they only enjoy and don't take any responsibility of growing their species. Thus, a sacred act became a secret act. When the ego of the human being forced him to take these decisions, he also went and looked around. He identified there is some supreme power, there is a supreme power that was the root cause of this whole universe. That created this universe, all the living beings, gave some energy which is yet to be identified by the so-called science. Science is nothing but an analytical interpretation of life. And in search of this supreme power, they identified or represented it to God and formed some groups, called them as religions. They formed their own practices. Then came the ego of the human beings. Whatever I interpret as religion, whatever I interpret as God is supreme. Okay, it's good if they had stopped with this. They said, whatever you interpret as God or religion is bad. So religion, a process that is supposed to unite people, started dividing people. Then comes the third, most important thing, politics. The art and science of living together, managing society, progressing towards growth. It became an element of separating people, creating conflicts and fights, all because of the egotistic nature of individuals. Friends, a sacred responsibility, a respect to nature and a participative growth, SRP, somehow became a sinful act, a revolt and conflict, and I don't even want to use any word for it. Let us realize the real meaning behind SRP. Be together, understand them, evolve into superhuman beings, make this world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. Sorry, thank you, DTM Guruprasad, for delivering a great speech. So next, we have an educational session by our young chap, Toastmasters Siddharth. So decoding table topics. So for the benefit of guests, in a table topic session, so participants are called on stage and they are given a random topic to speak impromptu. So this helps in improving the confidence and impromptu skills. So Toastmasters Siddharth is currently pursuing a PG in television journalism from the Asian College of Journalism. He's been a Toastmaster for 2 years and 3 months, past president